Okie dokie. So we have the same playlist as last week, but still, I added a couple of bits. It's not very different. So if you're using playlist, you can go 3, 2, 1. Commence la musique. All right. Today we'll begin lying down on the floor. Please. But it's a fancy version of lying down on the floor, which is known as Tadagi Mudra. So mudra, it means seal, but it also has semantic links with the word for wise. If you speak a Slavonic language, you'll know that. So Tadagi Mudra is named after the pools of water that are left in the temple floor. Like you imagine an uneven Indian rocky stone floor, and after the rain, there's these pools of water there. So your belly is one of those pools of water. So as you lie on the floor, you let it hollow out. First of all, however, you should take your legs together. I'm gonna lie this way so I can see. So take your legs together and flex the feet as if you're standing on the ground. The hands will be beside you, pressing the palms into the floor. And so the backs of the shoulders, you'll straight away want to press back into the floor so that your collarbones broaden so your lungs can be open. And if the back of the neck feels a little bit shorter than it ought to be, you can tuck the chin a little bit so that your jaw becomes perpendicular with the floor, so that here your throat gets deep. I talk a lot about like these hollow spaces, in particular in the winter. I was talking about the hollow belly, the hollow throat, the hollow eye sockets, so that you and your body can be like a container for the breath, for the practice, for your energy, for insight. And that all stays true. Today in Glasgow at least has proven to us that it's not quite springtime yet. However, we're moving that direction. So we're going to start to bring a little bit of tone in. And that's what this hugging to the center line is about. The inner thighs moving towards each other. The toes drawing up towards your face. And focusing on the inhale, you can visualize the breath beginning at a point between the soles of your feet and traveling up between the inner thighs, piercing through the center of the pelvic floor, traveling past the space behind the navel, through the center of the diaphragm. There's a little hole there if you look at diagrams of the anatomy, past behind the sternum, moving on the right hand side of the heart, through the center of the throat, through the soft palate at the top of the mouth, traveling between the two hemispheres of the brain and all the way to the top of the skull. As you exhale, we travel down again. So find 3 long breaths. If you have an Ujjayi practice, then we can start to work with that. If you don't know what Ujjayi is, then it simply is referring to a more textural breath where we contract the back of the throat and mentally trace that line from the soles of the feet through the space between the legs, moving through all the jewels of the torso. So that, in particular, that lower belly area is known as the palace of jewels. Through the past the heart, through the throat, through the space between the two hemispheres of the brain. As with many things in the yoga universe, this line that we're tracing this esoteric line has a name, which is Sushumna Nadi, which basically just means your central channel, where if we can practice well, can bring our energy into the central line, and that helps us to balance the different aspects of our bodies, right and left, strong and passive, front and back, many, many opposites, and find a balance between them. You know, this is something we seek. Also, it refers to kind of a certain core energy, which we'll work with. But for now, if you can, please grab your strap or strap approximation, i.e. not blanket, scarf or something like that. And keeping everything else the same, extend your right leg towards the ceiling. And this is why we want a strap, so that we can have the leg straight-ish. So the toes are going to be as active as they were when you were lying on the floor just now. So that the leg is nice and straight. And holding onto the strap, you can do it with one or both hands. Can you think about the bones of your leg? So there's 26 bones in your foot, 2 bones in your shin, and then 1 bone in your thigh, all of them going down the way so that they descend into your pelvis. So you can even think about the outer right hip dropping down. You can maybe pull gently on the strap so that you hug the leg up and in towards your body. Good. So we're going to stay here for a wee second, girl, so don't worry. N'inquiétez pas. All right. So press your foot up into the strap and pull the strap back. Think about the heel kicking down towards the floor as if it was going to go down and descend all the way down, but it's not gonna because you're holding on. Pulling the strap back. So your shoulders still stay relaxed. I'm up off the floor because I'm looking at you a little bit in the thing. Yeah, good, exactly. So if you don't have a strap, you can interlace the fingers around the shin and find that same kicking action. Not shin, hamstring. And pull the toes back towards your face. Okay. From here, please rotate your foot around to 2 o'clock. So the toes are going to point towards 2 o'clock, or as far as it will go. It depends on the depth of your hip socket and other things. So the toes are aiming out towards the right-hand side, external rotation in the leg. Left hand is going to come onto your pelvis on the left side, left hip bone, and hold it down there. Well, really, it's your left leg and the left side of the core holding your leg. That's your left hand as a reminder. From here, using your strap, or indeed your hand on your leg, point the toes out to the right and aim towards the floor. But only go as far as you can, still maintaining the left side of the pelvis on the floor. As you breathe in, you can imagine the inner thigh of the right leg like being combed through, lengthening those adductors, the inner thigh muscles. So make that left leg full of life so that it's pressing down your left glute. Maybe it's even working. Good. Inhale, come back to center with your right leg. If you've got a strap, swap it over. So take your left hand onto the strap and take your right hand onto the right hip. And then point the toes towards your left. And then see if you can take the leg across the body, but only as far as your right hip stays down and the leg is straight-ish. If you don't have a strap, you can just do it with your muscular power, or you can support your right leg with your left hand, but keep that right side of the pelvis on the floor as much as you can. So it's also going to be a stretch for the abductors now, the outside of your hip. Take one more exhale there, and then inhale, come back to center. We'll swap over, take the left leg. Okay, so first of all, we find that sucking of the leg down and in. So it's really like an imagination thing, an energetic thing as much as anything. Also, I mean, really, basically, I'm throwing lots of funny cues at you because the engagement here is quite subtle. What is it? You know, it's hip flexors, it's pelvic floor, it's lower belly. That's going to suck your leg up in towards the socket. From here, holding onto the strap, kick the heel away from you. So it's isometric, so you're engaging the hamstring without moving anywhere. Fill the lungs as you breathe in. Good. Okay, so from here, point your toes off towards the left as far as it will go, right hand on right hip, and then point the toes out and down. So we're still looking for external rotation in the leg. So we take the leg out. So it's like you're almost like the back of the thigh is spiraling up towards the sky, even. And use the breath here again to lengthen that inner thigh. Don't forget about the power of your right leg. Okay, inhale, come back up to center and then swap it over. So your grip, whatever it is, point the toes off towards the right. See if you can keep dropping your left hip down as you cross the leg over the body. And know that it won't go far, and it's not about going any particular place, it's about finding length and strength across the outer edge of that hip there. Okay, inhale, come back up to center. Remove your strap and take your hands out into like a T shape. So you extend your arms out at the level of your shoulders, nice and wide, and press the hands down into the floor. Let's start with bent knees. Take the shins parallel with the floor and glue your knees together like you've got one leg. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, can you press the lower back down towards the floor? The navel hugs in towards the spine. Inhale, and then as you exhale, drop your right knees, both knees over towards the right. Keeping the upper body as similar, absolutely static. Inhale, come back up to center. Good. Now over towards the left side, exhale. So keep those shins glued together and the knees. Inhale, come back up. Slow as you can. Down towards the right again. Good. It's a nice stretch for the outer hip. Good power for the lower back. Good. Last time onto the left side. Nice and slow. Yeah. Nice. Okay, come back to center. Now, you can stay with that, or for the last one, you can see what happens if you extend the legs, pointing the toes, keeping the legs again together. So no sloppy. It's much harder, but see if you can do it. Also, if you've got long, graceful legs, then it's going to be harder. Okay, last one. Oh, that way back up is really hard. Exhale down towards the left. And then inhale back up to center. Okay, that's enough of that. Take the knees in. Let's roll up. Come into a tabletop position, please. Okay, let's go from stuff we don't do often to stuff we do often. Come into your tabletop shape, please. And so your belly will be nice and warm from what we just did. Keep the hip bones hugging in towards each other. Reach your right leg back. Toes pointing towards the face, nice engaged, leg. Reach the left hand forward. Now, as you reach, obviously your leg and your arm are of different weights, but can you mentally think about balancing the left and right sides of your body? So maybe your left arm hugs back in towards the socket. Maybe your right leg hugs up and in towards the pelvis. Maybe you can mentally trace that. So we're going to do it a lot today. That center line from the center of the pelvis this time, through the center of the torso, through the crown of the head. See if that makes it any easier to stay long. And activity all the way from the toes to the fingertips. Exhale, bring the knee towards the nose and hold it there. In the same way, can you think about balancing the two sides? So maybe you need to press more into the right hand. Maybe you need to hug the left shoulder back. Stay there. Put your left hand down, look forward, inhale. Replace your right hand with your right foot. Here, press your heels down into the floor and inhale, take the arms up. Okay. So take your hands down towards the hips first and let your fingers rest on the bones of your pelvis and let that sensation be your guide. Where are your hips pointing? Imagine them like headlights. Are they pointing off towards the side? Or can you hug them to shine directly into your future, the front of the room? Okay, so we're going to look for that throughout the practice today. For now, let's step the right knee back in front of the left knee. So cross your legs as if you're in a nice chic Parisian cafe. Apparently that's the theme today. So your legs are like crossed, the left knee nestling into the back of the right knee. And then we swivel the hips, drawing a circle with the pelvis. And as you do that, the legs will press against each other. The lower back will swirl. Do 3 circles in one direction and then in the other direction. Good. And hopefully it should just feel quite nice. All right, unravel your right leg from your left, and then we'll do the other side. Send the left heel back. Before you go anywhere, can you level the 2 sides of your pelvis, reach the right hand forward. So as you can see, we do this often in a dynamic way. I'd like to do it here today in a static way so that you can really refine your attention of the detail. And without looking with your eyes, can you find a sense of symmetry in your body? There's never going to be complete symmetry, of course, because the body is not, nor is anything in the natural world, of course. But we can cultivate a certain sense of balance. Perhaps hug the right shoulder into the socket. See what that feels like. And the left hip up and in, like we did, using the pelvic floor. All right, elbow to knee, crunch it in, and stay there. Ooh. Notice if you wobble. Good, right hand down, left foot meets left hand. Come up for your low lunge. Fill the lungs with the breath anytime we take the arms overhead. Then take your hands to those hips. See what it feels like to square the hips and what's involved. So it's going to be, again, that sucking of the hip in. Going to do that a bunch today. And then when you do that, what can you feel switch on? So take the hands to the left foot, step forward, forward fold, exhale. Then let's come up to stand. Any way you like. You can roll through the spine, you can take the arms wide. Grab your block or book, please, and place it between your thighs right above your knee. Whether it's your thing is thick or fat, doesn't matter. But make it not all the way up here, but maybe down here so you've got somewhere to go with it. Now, come to the top of your mat or near to it and take your feet close enough that you can squeeze that block. Think about sending the block backwards so that you're squeezing the block in and back. So that those inner thighs are coming together again. Then drop your tail and then drop your heels to the floor. Take the hands to your low ribs and then stand up tall. So drop those feet down into the floor, keep squeezing your block, take a breath in. Keeping the lower body exactly as it is, turn your torso only towards the right. So it's not going to go very far. But you're going to notice something, hopefully. Inhale, come back to center. And then turn your torso towards the left. Notice if you have to compensate at all to keep the hips square. Maybe you do, that's fine. Inhale, come back to center. Notice how strong your legs are before you take the block away, because we're not going to use it for a wee while. Take it out and then see if you can maintain that imaginary line. If you take your feet together, drop your heels down and find that line from the point in the floor between your 2 feet. Trace up this between the inner thighs. Go through the pelvic floor, behind the navel, through the center of the diaphragm, past between the 2 lungs, up through the throat, the roof of the mouth, crown of the head. Keep the legs stable. Pull your right knee up in towards the chest. Now keep that right knee facing forward and 2 hips facing forward. Take the arms up towards the ceiling. Now can you turn your torso only towards the right? For when? Oh, for bedtime? Yes, please. 2:10. That's a little logistical thing. Okay. Come back to center then, please. And then step back with your right knee towards the floor. Keep your 2 hips facing forward. Lean forward. Find that center line from the center of your pelvic floor all the way to the crown. So your whole spine lengthens forward. Then take the right hand to the floor. Turn the right ribs around towards your left knee. Then the left hand up towards the ceiling. Open twist. So we do this shape a lot. Here, can you think about particularly the left knee hugging in towards you? So you're looking for that center line. Okay, exhale, left hand down towards the floor. Lift the back knee now, please, runner's lunge. And I remind you why I call this runner's lunge, because of the momentum that we want to have in the upper body, going forward. So take a breath in, lengthen the spine, find that center line again. As you exhale, we're going to go forward. See if you can drag the right foot forward, tap the right knee towards the left calf. Burp. Good. With control, inhale, step it back silently. Keep the spine really long. Now, do it again, and as you do it, watch the left hip. Does it veer around towards the right, or are you still hugging it back towards the left? So the hips are still parallel. Yes. So beautiful. Okay, step back, inhale. Last time, exhale, go forward, either hands down, or if you like, you can really challenge yourself by seeing if you can do it hands free. Oh my goodness. Good. From here, send your right heel back, chest forward. Warrior 3. Hands can be down or up. Back leg strong. But spine long, so much so that you go into your plants like me, crashing into my jungle here. As you exhale, step back with the right foot, place the outer edge of the foot and the heel onto the floor. Let's find the arms up, warrior 2. Good, okay. From here, take your right hand onto your hip and left hand up towards the ceiling like the Statue of Liberty, which was also a gift from the French. See, that's the theme. Pull the left toes up towards your face and turn the toes off towards the right. So you're facing the long edge of the mat. Toes are facing in, heels out. You're going to reach the hand up, that left hand still reaching, and send it forward, forward, forward. So you're going forward, forward, forward until your chest comes parallel with the floor. Maybe a bend in the knees can help. Yes. Oh, I love this shape. You look beautiful, everyone. Okay, so from here, take that right hand and place it onto your lower back, right? Onto your, not only the lower back, but the sacrum. Keep reaching the left hand forward and place it onto the floor, just underneath your face, perhaps. So we're going to turn around towards the right as we press the left hand into the floor. But your right hand is going to stay on the sacrum to keep that it's going to stay parallel with the floor. So what do you need to hug back? Maybe the left hip sucks in. Maybe the right hip turns towards the floor. Keep the spine long. Once you've got that stable, you can take the right hand towards the sky. So finish off that twist if you like. So we're aiming with even left ribs turning around towards the sky. Only the torso, not the lower body. Yes, exhale. Right hand down towards the floor. Both hands onto your hips. Come back up, inhale. Circle the hands around the right foot. The left foot, which is at the front. And then step the right foot forward, forward fold. Good. I'll roll through the spine, heels down, tailbone down. Until you come all the way up towards the ceiling. Take the hands up and then pull the left knee up in towards the chest. So same thing, 2 hips pointing in the same direction. So in order to keep this side balanced with the others, I should discuss for a second what milk my baby is going to have in half an hour's time. No, okay, exhale, left knee is going to go back and down towards the floor. So bend the right knee until you can place the left foot down. Take the hands onto the hips, watch where your 2 hips are pointing, and then reach your spine forward. So we're going leaning forward, 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 forward. So the right ribs meet the right leg, left hand comes to the floor, and then turn yourself around so the left ribs meet the right thigh. Left hand still pressing down for that shoulder blade coming down the back, then right hand reaches up. So it's this open twist, but done in a super methodical, nice way. Right knee hugging in towards that center line. Okay, exhale, take the hand down, lift the back knee, runner's lunge. Even in the runner's lunge, right? Can you trace the line? Start with doing at your heel. On the right-hand side of your left heel, imagine there was a second leg there. So it goes from heel along the legs, pelvic floor, back of navel, heart, throat, crown of head. Yes. Okay. So maintain that as much as you can. Exhale, we go forward. Right knee, the left knee taps the right. Good. Step back. Inhale. Reaching back along that long line. Tap it again. Exhale. Watch your right hip. Notice how it's so much more work when you keep it square. Step it back. If you want, you can try hands free, but you don't have to. It's hard enough as it is, frankly. Then find your warrior 3. So kick the heel back. Notice if you wobble all over the place. The more you keep your hips square, in fact, the less likely that is to happen. Okay, let's step back. Warrior 2. Okay, so again, it's the left hand onto left hip. Right hand up towards the ceiling. And then straighten the right leg, pull the toes towards your face. Turn towards the left-hand side, long edge of the mat. So find now the center line from the gap between your feet, again. Pelvic floor, center of the spine, all the way to the crown of the head. If we trace that line and then go forward as you exhale, lengthening. Yes. You know, I often emphasize taking up space. Making space, taking up space. But it keeps us balanced, hopefully. Take your right hand down. And then take the left hand to the sacrum. So sacrum, I think of it as the fulcrum of the body, where the spine meets the pelvis, not like cross shape. As you rotate round towards the left, use the feedback of your left hand to watch where your pelvis is going. Try to be honest with yourself. If you feel like it is square, you can take the left hand up. And notice if you need to maybe pull your left hip down towards the floor a little bit more, right hip back. Notice what it feels like. And if that can help you to access a deeper twist or more contrast in the twist anyway. Okay, exhale, left hand down, both hands to the hips. Press the heels, maybe bend the knees. Inhale, come back up all the way to stand. Circle the hands around the right foot. Step back, downward facing dog. From here, please come into a plank. And imagine as if we were standing on the floor. So take the feet together. That makes the plank slightly harder. Inner thighs circle towards each other. And draw that line between the 2 feet, pelvic floor, back of heart, navel, throat, crown of head. Imagine it like a straight line. Even if you put your knees down as we lower, see if you can keep that line completely uber straight. Yes. Super sweet. Yes. Oh, beautiful. Good job. Lovely Philippine. Oh, Gabby. Oh my goodness. Okay, inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. That deserves a big breath in, don't you think? Exhale. All right. Press, hug the 2 hands together. as if you're hugging them to that center line. So they're not moving, but you're thinking about the hands moving towards each other, the forearms. Well, yeah, they're not moving, but they're isometrically engaging. Hug the two legs together. Hug the two hip bones together. The lower belly is going to lift up. Exhale all the way out. Take another breath in. Bend the knees. Keep everything hugging to the center line, either through a step or through a hop. Bring the feet to that gap between your hands. Yes, yes. Fold, exhale. This time, let's take the arms wide, spine long. As you reach the crown away from the pelvis, we come all the way up to stand. Like a little reverse swan dive. That's it. Good. Okay, exhale, bend the knees, find a chair. So you can take your hands to your hips here for a second. Know that the two sides of your body, you may have a tendency to, I'm sure I've told you before about my husband who stands like this. If you ever see us in the park, like you'll notice that he does, I'm like, is this comfortable to you? Anyway, everyone has a tendency one way or another to move to the side. So see if you can notice what yours is. This is what the practice is for, to getting to know yourself. So hands on the hips, and then we reach the hands up. Good, find that center line. So again, your inner thighs are gonna squeeze. Okay. Step the right foot back. Right hand to the floor. So we're gonna find our open twist. So you know where we're going. We want to spiral those right ribs around towards the left knee, which hugs into the center line. I'm gonna turn around and see you this way. Okay, so yeah, stay. I'm just turning so I can see you. Aiming to hug that left hip back and in. Now, gaze down towards your right fingertips. Press your left heel into the floor and then hover the right hand. I'm sure we've done this before. Now, we're going to keep the right hand facing forward as you take the right heel to the floor, left hand up and over. And it's like a reverse warrior sort of. Right hand facing forward, left hand up. We're going to do this a couple of times. So come back onto the ball of the back foot of the right foot, right hand down towards the floor, open twist. Let's spiral around. Stamp the left heel into the floor. Right hand forward, left hand up, right heel down. You know you're doing it if your left hip is like, oh boy. Come down again. Right hand to the floor, left hand up. Okay, last time. Stamp left heel into the floor, right hand forward, left hand up. Keep a bend in that left knee. Oh boy. Okay, inhale, arms parallel to the floor. Straighten the left legs. We find we're aiming towards Trikonasana, the triangle. As you exhale, send your left ribs forward. Think about, again, the length in your spine from the tail to the crown as you lengthen spine. Then the left hand can be a continuation of that, and the right hand can be a continuation of that. Yes, good. Gia's ribs are all about the tune, but not now. I saw what you did there. So that's a reminder that your lower ribs should tuck in. Because why? Because we're looking for that long spine. And finding too much of a lumbar curve in this position may not allow you to access the full length of your spine. Okay, right hand down. Square the hips. So come onto the ball of the back foot. Reach your chest forward, send your chest forward. Maybe you can hover the right foot. The hands can stay down if you like, or you can take them up off the floor, warrior 3. Okay. Bend your left knee. Take your right knee towards the left, tap the calf. Inhale, right leg back. Good, bend the left knee again. Then we're going to stand all the way up, take the right knee in towards the chest. Ooh. Okay, so last time we twisted towards the right leg. This time we're going to twist away from the right leg. So right knee is pointing forwards, your torso turns towards the left. Step the right foot back, open the arms wide as you face towards your left knee. It's like a reverse warrior 2. So lots of coordination stuff, not only here for the body, but for the brain. Very good for your 2 hemispheres. Inhale, both arms up. Then exhale, downward facing dog. As we land here, a nice place to stop and notice, because all 4 limbs are doing similar stuff. So we can go, what is the sensation on the left and right side of the bodies? Is it different? Okay, hug those forearms together, hug the legs together, bend the knees. If you're hopping, see if you can keep the legs together. They may not stay together, but give it a shot. Inhale, step or jump. Feet towards hands. Good. Reach the hands back, chest forward, come all the way up to stand. Smashing. Exhale, bend the knees. All right. Where your hips pointing, can we keep them pointing forward as you hover the left foot? Is that right? Yes, step back with the left foot. Left hand will meet the floor. Left rib spin towards the right. It's that open twist here. Good, 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 good. So remember what we learned about twisting the torso from our wide-legged forward fold. How the right hip still hugs back. Okay, hover those left fingertips. Beep, 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 beep. We come up and around. So left hand still reaching forward, right hand up, left heel towards the floor. Left hand forward. Good. Don't worry about it too much. Really, it's all about what's happening with the rotation of the hips. Okay, come down again. That open twist. Left hand down, right hand up. So keep the whole way. Left hand down, right hand up. Right heel down, left hand forward, right hand up. Eee. And if you want to feel it more, make sure you can keep a bend in that right knee. Last time. So keep the bend in the knee the whole time as much as possible. And move as slowly. Inhale, hover. Left hand forward. Ay, ay, ay. That's what you should be saying if you're doing it right. Okay, inhale, straighten. That should feel pretty nice. Lengthen first. Stamp both heels into the floor. Go forward with right ribs. And right hand comes to the shin. Trikonasana. Triangle. Tushy tucking in, low ribs tucking in, left shoulder leaning back. So lean back in space. Annie, imagine if there's some behind you. Yeah, 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 yeah. So good. That's exactly it. Exactly it. Remember, I always talk about self-trust. That's what you got to do in this posture. Okay, exhale, both hands to the floor. Come onto the ball of the back foot. Runner's lunge first. Lengthen that spine. Go forward with that left foot, or rather up into the air, warrior 3 variation. Left knee will tap the right calf. Find those 2 squared hips. Inhale, lengthen. The second time we bend both knees, we come through fully and stand all the way up. Take the left knee in towards the chest. Ooh, challenging that hip stability. Okay, smashing. So left knee points forward, right hip points forward, torso points to the right. Good. Reach your left leg back. We're finding our twisted warrior 2 towards the right. Ooh, good. Nice wobbles. Lovely, 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 lovely. All right then. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to the floor. I'm going to do one little last burst of action. Right leg all the way towards the sky, please. Exhale. Take the right knee towards the right elbow. Inhale towards the sky. Exhale, right knee towards the left elbow. Crossing the body. Good. Inhale all the way towards the sky. Exhale, go forward, take the foot between the hands. And here we are again. It's going to be open twist. But here, please, if you have your block, take it in front of your right foot and then, in fact, in front of your left hand. There's a clearer way of putting it. Step the left foot in and then take your left hand, put it on the block. Take your right hand to your right hip and then do the hokey cokey. All right. Send your chest forward. Send your chest forward. Lengthen the spine. Find that center line again. Center pelvis through the heart, through the crown. Maybe the left foot can hover. So it looks like warrior 3. Hips are going to be square, but maybe then left ribs can rotate around towards the right. Keep your left heel kicking back. Maybe the right hand stays on your right tushy, giving it a nice loving caress. Or if you want, the right hand can come up towards the ceiling. Here we are in a twist. Above all, reach your crown away from your left heel. Think about your center line and embody that balancing central so-called Sushumna Nadi. Feel how it allows you to be expansive in space. Beautiful. Bend the right knee. Send your left foot back. Let the toes meet the earth. And then the heel. Take your block back with you, maybe level with the right foot, and then come up to stand here. So this is a continuation of my love affair with triangles, which I have, if you maybe know this about me. Take your two hands to your hips. We're going to find Parivarta Trikonasana, the rotated triangle. So guess what? The two hips are facing forward. Take your right hand onto your right hip, like the Statue of Liberty, the left hand will go up. So we're thinking about moving like an Egyptian here, front and back, not turning around. Go forward with the left hand. So this is maybe a nice place to stay. You can probably feel a whole bunch going on in the hamstrings, the hips. The right hip should be pulling back, the left hip going forward. If you'd like to find this rotated triangle shape, you can take your left hand onto that block. The right hand on the back of your sacrum reminds you that it's square. Then maybe the chest can rotate towards the right, lengthening the crown of the head away from the center of the pelvis at all times. And again, you know, you can stay with the right hand here on your tushy, or you can rotate it around, or rather up towards the ceiling. Once you've got it, breathe. Wherever you are, breathe. Fill up the lungs. Yes. Okay. One more. Exhale, take your hand down if it was there. If your hand was forward, take it to your hips. Come back up to stand. Both hands circle the right foot. Step it back. Downward facing dog. We'll save the vinyasa until after the second side. Let's just go ahead and take the left leg up towards the ceiling. So left elbow, left knee. Inhale up. Left elbow, right knee. Good job. Inhale up. Left foot between the hands. So get your block set up straight away in front of you, in front of the right hand there. But let's find the open twist first. You see how this is the basis for everything we're going. Hips square, torso rotating towards the left. And filling the lungs on this side. Yeah, nice. So good, very nice, Charlotte, perfect. Okay, both hands, left hand onto the left hip, step the right foot in. In fact, here's a little personal detail. We got this like book of songs from the Scottish government the other day. It's not the hokey cokey now, it's the Shugly Wuggly. You put your right leg in and do the Shugly Wuggly, and then you vote for independence. Okay, right hand onto the block, reach your chest forward. Here, the right foot reaches back. You learn a new thing every day. Okay, so always fighting for that square of the hips, reaching the chest forward, the crown of the head. And this is a beautiful place to stay because you can feel these counterbalancing forces. Right leg reaching back, crown reaching forward. If you'd like, you can rotate right ribs around towards the left. And if you like, you can take the left hand up towards the ceiling. This is probably one of the most challenging single leg balances because we're rotating around all the axes. But it teaches you about the next posture. Step the right foot back, toes meet the floor, heel meets the floor. And last time we used the squaring of the hips. It's a really good way of strengthening, balancing the strength of the two sides of the body. So you don't want the stance to be too long, because the longer the stance, the more challenging it is to actually find the squaring of the hips. So go ahead and give yourself the gift of a short stance. There's enough to be doing. Right hand reaches up, and we'll go forward. So as you go forward, you might notice that left hamstring talk to you. Bend in the knee can help. Here you can stay. If you like, you can take the right hand onto your block. Your left hand can stay on your hip, reminding you to do that squaring, or on your sacrum. Or if you like, you can see if those right ribs can rotate around towards the left. And again, you can stay with that, or you can take the arm up if you like. Always lengthening the neck. Good. Stay for 3 breaths, perhaps, and let the breath occupy this very particular shape. Okay. Take the hand down. If your hands were forward, take them again around to frame the left foot. Runner's lunge first, then step back, downward facing dog. Here, last time, we'll come forward into the plank and find your line between the heels, through the thighs. Keep it nice and long. You can even close your eyes as you visualize it. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. Enjoy a sigh if you like. When you're ready, please take the knees to the floor. Let's go ahead and curtsy off to the side. Take your feet forward. We're going to come down to lie down, letting the hips come towards the heels. Not totally right beside, obviously, but like so that your fingertips can reach the heels. Press down into the balls of both feet and tuck the hips towards your bottom ribs. Shorten the front of the body, and then notice how the tushy lifts. Press into the feet and let's lift the hips smoothly towards the ceiling. Here you can maybe think about pressing the feet down and then moving them towards each other. So this is an isometric movement that we do often. You can stay with this, or if you like, you can nestle the fingers underneath you, the triceps and interlace the fingers there. Press equally into both feet and let the hips lengthen towards the ceiling, leaving a little gap between your chin and your chest, as if there was like an orange there. Notice how the throat stays long and spacious. Again, we return to this receptive mode to let the lungs absorb everything we've done. And of course, counterbalance by lengthening the front of the hips, which we have shortened a whole bunch today. So unravel the hands if you had them. First, tuck the bottom ribs in, tuck in the belly, and then the pelvis until you unravel the whole spine slowly into the floor. See if the lower back can meet the earth. Here, reach your left leg forward and bend your right knee in towards the chest. So finally, we're going to twist and we're going to allow the pelvis to move. So take your left hand onto your right knee and let the knee go over to the side. And obviously the right side of the hip will stack over or move towards the left. It might stack on top of the left hip, might not go that far. But see if your right shoulder can aim towards the earth still. So this time we keep the shoulders as still as possible, as instead of the shoulders moving, the pelvis moves. So your right knee does not need to meet the floor. Don't yank it into that. Only go as far as feels okay in your lower back. Instead, think about the length of your spine again, so that as you drop the tailbone, all the vertebrae of the spine extend away from each other, crown of the head reaches towards the sky, even while you're lying down. Left leg can still be strong and long. Breathe into your right lung very much. So feel free to stay here if you would like a little variation, you can bend your left knee and your left foot will come up towards your right butt cheek. And if it is close enough, you can grab it with the right hand. So you become like a little pretzel shape where your left hand is on your right knee, your right hand is on your left foot, and you don't know what left and right mean anymore. Right shoulder always aiming towards the floor, no matter which shape you're in, so you don't have to do anything with that left leg. Only do any of this if it continues to feel spacious. So perhaps 2 more big breaths into that right one. So unravel yourself. The left foot will kick away if you had it. Guide your right knee back towards the center line. Perhaps give it a little squish before you swap over to the other side. So your right leg reaches as long as your left knee pulls in towards the chest, both shoulders down onto the floor like we started. The right hand can guide the left knee over to the right hand side. Again, going as far as feels okay. Going as far as you can maintain integrity and length in the spine. So fight for that. Left shoulder rooting into the earth. So here again, you can stay, or the right foot can kick in towards your left butt cheek now if you like. Whichever variation you have, there's always going to be opposing forces moving in all directions. This is something we encounter all the time in the practice, of course. The intention behind the physical practice, theoretically, according to texts, is so that we can get to grips with the material world, which is fraught by opposites. Day and night, cold and hot, rich and poor, sick and well. We can stay stable like our 2 hips throughout all of those extremes, then we are a yogi. Yoga samatva uchate, as they say in Bhagavad Gita. So it just means yoga is about steadiness. Okay, the minute I quoted the Bhagavad Gita, somebody dropped off. Haha. Anyway, that's fine. Let go of your right foot. If you had it, get the left knee back towards you and give it a squeeze. (1858). Why don't we extend both legs forward? Take the palms to face the ceiling. And before we settle into Shavasana, the final resting posture, can you allow your attention to cascade and scan over your body? The 2 sides, the front and the back. Before you should move around too much, can you spend a moment noticing whether the 2 sides feel balanced or not, the front, the back? Noticing the energies, whether you feel energized or tired, the 2 aspects of the breath. Let your attention weave in between these opposites. Finally, we'll take a big breath in through the nose. Exhale with a sigh. Enjoy the 2 opposite sensations of these modes of the breath. The richness of the inhale. The release of the exhale. And after all of the effort of our practice, can you now find a sense of release? Release effort, release control of the breath. And instead, let everything just trickle down into that crease, that central channel of the body, flowing down, now downwards from the crown of the head, down through the throat, all through the heart, back through the navel, all the way through the pelvic floor, down towards the heels and out into the earth. Everything gets settled and balanced in the center of you, suspended between the two modes of the breath. Find an inhale, or rather allow the inhale to re-enter your body in a deeper way. Perhaps if it feels good, you can let out a sigh to balance that deeper inhale. And allow the inhale to bring liveliness back to the body, all the way to the fingers, the toes, the ends of the hair, to the depths of the belly. When you feel ready to move, perhaps you'd like to take the arms overhead and reach from fingers till toes, going in opposite directions, creating space and length and stability in the middle. When you're ready, then bend the knees and bring them in towards the chest, give them a squeeze there. Wrapping yourself around that center point. Rock over to whichever side feels more appropriate right now. Then you can use the hands again, as ever, always, to press up and come back. And probably I told you before, this thing that we do at the end of every single class, why do we take the two hands together? To unite the two hemispheres of the brain to aim to cultivate balance. So feel how the right hand presses into the left, left hand presses into the right. See if we can cultivate that constant dance of readjustment, balance between the opposites that we embody. Let's inhale. Exhale with a sigh. Again, we inhale together all around the world. Om Shanti.